All I know, I trust whatever it is, he's going to do the best thing for me. Now, the service advisor said, Marnita, we don't have a car. Because they usually, now I'm without a car. Where they usually get their car, there were 5 people waiting for a car that they didn't have. And I was the 6th person. I said, but God, I'm going to trust you. I'm standing in front of him. And he says, just wait, Marnita, let me figure it out. Good. I'm sitting there just like this. They had just started renting cars from the dealership cars. There's 5 people waiting on a car at Enterprise for a car that they don't even have. I'm the 6th person. My service advisor heart got touched. I am not confused, y'all. And gave me a car to use that day while they monitor my car overnight.
Build $1 million legacy with purpose.
Tamiko, we got a few more followers in our Facebook group. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. Thank you guys and welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for following. I am Dr. Marnita on fire. Some of y'all know Tamiko, some of y'all know me, some of y'all know both of us, but we are both glad that you're here. It's another hot Tuesday. Actually, it's a really hot Tuesday. This is voting Tuesday. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
Come on. I hope y'all, like, either if you didn't early vote, you are going out there waiting in those lines to vote today. Today's the day. Vote V-Day. V-Day. So this is Dr. Marnita on fire. I'm coming to you today with combos for your calling under the umbrella of Build $1 Million Legacy with Purpose. It's all about purpose. Often, like, this is a side, Tamiko. Often, like, I remember when I was trying to figure out what purpose was, and what I realized is we always trying to find it, but we were created for doing a thing. And the only true person who really knows that purpose, and some of us spend a lifetime trying to find it and figure out what that is our Creator. Like, he know why Tamika, you said something about that in the green room. Like, he knew us before we was in our mother's womb. She said that in the green room, and I can't believe I'm representing it right now, but that's how we do.
So
and so the umbrella of this conversation and combos for your calling is under that $1 million legacy with purpose, because I know when this started, Tamika, we've been in this now about 5 months or so. I was interviewing business owners about how they build businesses based on their purpose. And I know, like, when people are really building it, they're in their flow and they're doing their thing and they're just killing the game, because when you're operating in purpose, there's an anointing on your life, because you are adding so much value to people on this earth, which is your domain in the kingdom of God. So, woo.
That was a word.
So, now that you know who I am, with all that, like, word salad, I'm gonna turn it over to my girl.
And all that goodness. So we got Dr. Marnita, the evangelist and disciple. Not Tamiko J.
She didn't say that.
And spiritual coach. And welcome. This is a awesome time of meeting and greeting and being in the space of the conversation as we enlighten folks on how to be a participant in life and move towards that $1 million purpose. Okay. Yeah. That part.
So, season 2, Tamiko, I think this is our 1, 2, 3. I think this is our 3rd session in season 2.
Okay.
And season 2 is all about it's your attitude. And we are taking segments of different areas, and we are tapping into a deeper conversation of attitude around that thing. Today, I text Tamiko probably a couple of weeks ago. I said, Tamiko, text Tamiko, like, voiced it and it came out in the writing. So don't play with me. Access your faith attitude. Access your faith attitude. And she hearted it.
Right away.
Right away. She hearted it. And something, as I was driving, something made me come up with that access your faith attitude. And I just want to talk about the word attitude first, so that we, oftentimes people say attitude, and I just want to make sure we're operating from the same platform as we have this conversation today. And the word attitude has evolved over time. Like initially, it was this Italian word that transitioned from Italian to Latin. And then from the Latin context, it evolved over time to mean this a psychological orientation or outlook towards a person, a thing, an idea, which involves beliefs, feelings, and behaviors. So how about that? So I wanted to say that because initially, as an Italian word, it just meant posture and positioning. So we can see how things evolve over time and the meaning of that word, how it can change over time. And so now we're accessing the psychological orientation of the word.
Okay.
As it has grown over centuries. So we're talking about, it goes all the way back to the 17th century, and then it moved on through to the 18th century. Now we're here today. And so the meaning as we use it today means that it has this in the context of psychological orientation towards a person or things, and it involves our beliefs, our feelings, and a tendency to act certain ways as a result of it, the attitude. So I wanted to talk about that in regards to faith, because I think that's really important to have in this day and time that we're living. And I was born and raised in a church. Let's start there first. And often, yeah, I'm going to bring some little church stuff into this. Oftentimes, you always hear faith in the church, but sometimes people, for y'all church folks, if this lands a certain way, I'm not going to apologize. It is what it is. So you say faith, I have faith in this and that and the other, but when it's really time to test your faith, it just is ephemeral. It disappears. And how do I know? Because I used to be there, because I didn't even know, I didn't know what faith was. Yeah, we know the scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things. We get that. But how do you live that? How do you really live that? If you're worried about how your utilities are going to be paid, if you're worried about how that car note is going to be met, if you worry about the price of milk in the grocery store, that's not accessing faith. Because you ask your Father, your Heavenly Father, to give me this day my daily bread. We didn't ask for it for tomorrow. I don't even know if you say the prayer or not. I'm just talking to somebody. I don't know who this word is for.
That part.
Tamiko, I am acting out today.
Go for it.
Sorry. I'm not sorry. I am not sorry at all today, because you know why? It takes intentionality to live in faith. See, oftentimes we reposition the psychological meaning. We position our attitude on faith like we're having faith in us. We're disappointing ourselves. We're the only person who disappoints ourselves consistently daily, and we're okay with that. What I've learned to do is have faith in the one who sustains me, because I know he's constant. I know he's not going to disappoint me. I've lied to myself so many times that I believe my lies are the truth sometimes. So let's have this conversation. So hopefully, Tamiko, this gives like a foundation for us to have this conversation on today, because we are not scripted. I pulled some definition about attitude and how we're going to have this conversation about attitude today, as it relates and how it's grown over time, but how it relates to our psychological orientation as it is impacting or positioned in reference to our faith.
Okay.
So do you want to add anything else before we really dive in deep to this conversation of access your faith attitude?
Yes. What I would add to what you just said, because you did an excellent job of setting the framework for the definition of attitude, and it's evolving into a different definition over the centuries. And what I would like to also add to that is the component of how faith and attitude, how those two will come together, because there is a spiritual component to attitude as well. And the one thing that's so beautiful about understanding scripture from a perspective of living it in a real life form or in the marketplace is words have power. And so that's what we're going to speak to today. Okay. In a way that makes it make sense, or it will to us anyway. How about that? How about that? Because again, this actual title for today is access your faith attitude.
Access your faith attitude. And I think I want to talk about it in like certain terms. So, and you can they these terms are not all inclusive of how you can access your attitude of faith, but it's just something to think about and to engage thought around, so we can become more aware of how are we really accessing faith based on our psychological orientation around it. Okay?
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. So first of all, let's talk about our attitude when it comes to our faith around trust and surrender.
Oh, you just going into the deep. You just gonna jump on out there. You're not even gonna get in the kiddie pool. You're not gonna do the rinse.
Let's go. Like, let's get into deep.
All right, let's
Peter
go.
and his buddies, they couldn't catch fish in the shallow. Jesus said, y'all need to throw y'all net on the other side in the deep, like, and they get like so much fish that's gonna break your nets. I'm here to break the nets today.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Get the fish.
So I want to give you a personal example for trust and surrender for me. And Tamiko knows about it because I had to call her and cancel last week's conversation because of it. Y'all know I play pickleball every day, right?
There it is.
Hey. So my girl, she was out shopping and she sent me this pic and in a text, and she said, "Which one do you want?" And I was delayed in responding. She said, "I guess I have to make an executive decision or something."
So
like
let me set it up for you. Let me set it up. So I really wasn't shopping. I had lunch and I was going over to get my after lunch cocktail, which is a nice hot cup of coffee. And then this little store caught my attention, right? It was this little boutique over at Shaker Van Aken. And I like to see little boutiques individually on spot, seeing what people doing, wanted, And I walked in there because I saw this scarf. And the scarf had the purple, because my new purple glass. I was like, oh, look at that scarf. And I looked at the scarf, and all of a sudden it was like something said, look over there. And I was like, shut the front door. There go my sister's taco cap. Now I saw it. Now there was other, and I was like, it said pickleball champ. Now y'all do know that she will be competing in several pickleball championships throughout the country. We just had this conversation on the platform. So of course she had to have her hat. So I went in directly right to that. And then the salesperson, being the good salesperson that she was like, oh, which one do you like? I didn't see them other ones. I saw that one because it said champ as a champion. And I was like, oh yeah, that one. So then just to engage the very friendly salesperson, I said, well, let me see. I was like, so which one do you like? Knowing good well she wasn't gonna take me back because I had already made my executive decision. I was like, I'm making the executive decision. So
She did.
It was all right. And she's like, would you like me to gift wrap it? Yes, I would. Thank you very much. And just know that. So I said, my sister, she is a pickleball champion. She was like, oh, really? Yes. I didn't hype this whole thing up. It was a whole thing. So yeah. So then she was like, well, today, because she came up with something, and it's an extra 15% off of everything in the store. I said,
That's so
okay. Well, thank you. Let me go see if I want something else in here. But yeah, it was a cute little store. And that's how it happened. So I wasn't shopping. I was minding my own business, getting a cup of coffee, and then there's the pickleball.
And I got so excited. Like I couldn't wait till I got the hat. I had on a different hat today when I went out earlier. Girl, I came home and I seen it in front of my door. I tore open the box. I'm like, I don't even want to get the scissors. I'm just tearing. You know how you're a kid, you're tearing open the box and it's all in this wrapped in paper, and then the paper is in the bag. Like, what is she doing? This is too much.
No, you're gonna work for it. You're gonna work for it. You're a champion. You gotta work for it.
So this is the hat. But I wasn't wearing this hat a week ago. I was wearing another hat when I had finished playing pickleball, and I went and got in my car. We're talking about accessing faith attitude, your faith. And we're talking about in terms of right now, total surrender, trust and surrender, trust and surrender. And so I turned the ignition, and it was silent. I said, I just drove up here an hour and a half or 2 hours ago, and it was just fine. And I kept like turning the ignition, nothing, like not even, nothing. And so I had to align myself. I can't afford to get out of, we talked about this last week. I can't afford to get out of alignment. I can't. It costs me too much to get out of alignment. So I breathe and I sit there for a minute. And so I have a girl that I can call, and she'll come whenever. She said, Marnita, 24/7, I don't care if you're out there at night, if you run into anything, a situation, just call me, I'll be there.
Okay.
And I did, I called her, and she dropped whatever she was doing, and she came over. And then the pickleball people, a couple of them had jumper cables. And I didn't know if it was the battery. I didn't know if it was the starter. I didn't know it was the alternator. I didn't know what it was. So I'm thinking, because when I'm in my spot, my space of alignment, I'm able to think through things. Like thoughts begin to flow. And so I went and said, I told them what was going on. I'm thinking it was the battery. I didn't know what it was. So let's just try to, so they had jumper cables. One person came over, went across the street, got their car, brought it up to my car and tried to jump in. Nothing. So I'm calling and said, what do you do next, Marnita? Trust, like, okay, I'm like surrendering. Like, I need to get out of my own head and like allow the ideals to flow. And surrender for me is just that. getting out of my emotional headspace and allowing the ideas to flow. I remembered that my mom has AAA and we have the same last name. Don't act like y'all ain't did this before. Listen, my mom is in Cleveland. I'm in Florida. Our last name is Sandifer. I'm Dorothy.
There you go.
Don't judge me because y'all done did it before too. But anyway, so I called AAA. They sent out a tow truck quickly. And I had my car towed about 40 miles because I wasn't going to take it anywhere else. This is where I normally get my car service. He said, Marnita's going to cost you an arm and a leg to get it towed. Do you have AAA? I said, well, my mom does. I don't. And so I got the AAA, got the car towed. When they got it to the service station, the tow truck jumped the car and it started. And then it's interesting how when you're in the situation, you'll be sharing this information with other people, they come with all of these self-defeating narratives. Oh my God, it's going to be the starter, it's going to be the alternator. Like, I need to filter all of that information because I'm like, God, here's what I'm saying. I called Tamiko, said, we can't have the conversation today, so we're going to have to postpone. She was cool with it. But I'm saying, like, I don't know what it is, but I know you have the control. I know you're going to make a way. I don't know what that way is. So I need to surrender the thought process that I could have had for his thought process, which is way higher than mine. And he knows what it was. And even if it was the alternator, starter, or the battery, all I know, I trust whatever it is, he's going to do the best thing for me. Now, the service advisor said, Marnita, we don't have a car. Because they usually, now I'm without a car. Where they usually get their car, there were 5 people waiting for a car that they didn't have. And I was the 6th person.
Mm.
I said, but God, I'm going to trust you. I'm standing in front of him. And he says, just wait, Marnita, let me figure it out. I'm good. I'm standing there just like this. They had just started renting cars from the dealership cars.
Mm.
There's 5 people waiting on a car at Enterprise for a car that they don't even have. I'm the 6th person. My service advisor heart got touched. I am not confused, y'all. And gave me a car to use that day while they monitor my car overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Trust and surrender are elements that one might want to consider when accessing your faith attitude. So that's just a personal story of mine, like one of many.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared a couple of with you personally last week, Tamiko.
Mm-hmm.
But I find these so profound and impactful that I can't see moving through life without trust and surrender as elements that I use to access faith. And it's not faith in me. It's not faith in me, because I will disappoint myself every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's faith in what I don't know is possible. I had no idea. I'm woman number 6 in line for a car that doesn't even exist. Did y'all just hear what I said?
That part.
So that's my experience with trust and surrender. Believing there is something higher than you that's going to take care of you, and allows outcomes that's going to be for you to move forward in a way that you never thought was possible. Ooh.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. It's so cool because the other part of what you just said, you said trust and surrender. And so often, what I have found in my experience is when you don't trust yourself, it's very hard for you to trust anything or anyone else.
Mm.
So, in that same element that one can have trust in God, do you trust enough to know and surrender in the knowing that through faith, that's how all things are possible. But if you don't trust you, you're going to cancel out the surrender part.
Yeah.
You won't even get to the faith part,
Yeah.
right? Because when you trust, truly trust, and then surrender and hand it over, that's what brings the element of all the other things to happen. If you in the way, worrying, um, battling, tripping,
Tripping.
what? The beautiful essence with the way that faith works, it ain't stepping over all that mess to get to your blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. You can put mountains up.
I mean, come on. It's like, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, we gonna sit back here and
Oh
wait.
my God, it just hit me. I just said it could put mountains up, but wasn't it Jesus said if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be moved?
They moved. That part. So that's so thank you for that story, because that's how when we look at it and live in it and be in it, trust is a huge component.
Mhm.
And so many of us have or have had trust concerns or issues. That part.
Yeah.
Because if you don't trust, it's the surrender makes you nervous. Like, what am I surrendering to? The fact that you have faith that this vehicle is going to be fixed. And then remember, I was like, don't worry about it. It's under warranty. So whatever it is, he was like, but da da da. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's gonna all
Yeah,
be
she
fixed.
did.
It's all gonna
She
be
did.
fixed. It ain't gonna cost you a dime.
And it didn't. And I got a rental vehicle for nothing.
No,
Think,
you got the rental vehicle because your car keep wanting to go and visit the people at the service department.
yeah, I know they have a my car and that dealership. And it's interesting because I was there again today. It's interesting, and my service advisor, who is a Jim, he said they keep asking me why you keep coming here.
Because I'm giving y'all a chance to correct y'all vehicle. That
He
part.
said they laugh every time. I done been there like minimum 5 to 6 times over the past 10 days.
Oh wow.
Everybody is keep asking him. He said, "Why is she here again?" Like they laughing. I said, "Tell him like I'm your like side piece and like your wife understands."
That's funny.
Like I come see you on your job. Let's really give him something to talk about, you know. So he just laughed. He is such a great person. Um, and then that's what happens too. When you can trust and surrender. God brings people into your life that are angels,
Mm-hmm.
like like real angels. Like the best things that really can ever happen to your life don't come rolling into your life on wheels. It comes rolling into your life on 2 feet.
That part. And it speaks to where you are and who you are, because we attract who we are.
Yeah.
You know, you Dr. Marnita on fire. So you are there, you like, hey y'all, it reminds me of when I was in Arizona. Um, and I didn't know anybody, but I was able to build my nucleus and my circle around service providers like myself, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's so funny that you talk about, because I was having well, my vehicle was having some difficulties, and I was at the service department quite a bit, to the point people thought I worked there
Mm.
because I'm saying hello to everybody, doing my thing. But the best part out of it is I wound up getting 3 clients out of that became regular. Okay, but because the service provider, it was okay. And same thing, I get a ride to work because my business was right around the corner. And I'm like, I want one of these big muscle trucks to drive all day. Make that happen.
Right. Right.
I was like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking, but make that happen. I want one of these big muscle trucks today to drive all over the place. Since y'all
Right.
keeping this thing. But yeah, it's those moments again in the accessing of your faith and attitude, because the faith is that it all is going to work out, and the attitude is the attitude of gratitude in the faith. Woo!
Yeah.
The
I
mouthful.
like that.
Yeah, because it's listen, folks, life don't have to be as difficult as it seems. And even in these times where stuff gets crunchy, things happen. Don't go down, don't go down the hole. Because even when Marnita called me and she was like, you know what? And it was a bit of like, but we good. It was still a laughing in your voice, like, I can't believe I'm here again. And I was like, we got this. It's cool. Don't worry about it. We just, hey, put them on pause. Put it on pause. But the bigger thing, I was like, oh, is there? Don't worry about it. It's all covered. He was like, da da da. I'm like, stay right there. And that was the part. And I was like, okay. Um, it's in those moments that that you take a look, because I remember something was going on with me earlier that day as well. And I was like, okay, I gotta get to the. And so when you called, I was like, oh, there it
It
is.
was perfect timing,
Yeah,
right?
it was. Yep. I was like, okay, this is cool. So those are the the beautiful elements of um being able to surrender and recognizing where our attitude lands. Because when you're in a situation like that, especially, not to say that this doesn't happen to males either, but as a female, and when your vehicle goes down, that is the worst.
Yeah.
That is the worst. No, I know for me, I don't like to feel stranded. And yeah, so you're kind of at the mercy
Yeah.
of others. And so yeah, that's a big deal. And you use your vehicle for your business. So that's a whole nother thing. So it can be pretty good that it worked out. That it
Now,
worked out.
the other element that I wanted to throw out for consideration,
Okay.
uh, in order to use the excess, your faith attitude, is hopefulness.
That's a good one.
I like hopefulness. Well, it's all in hopefulness it is a part of the faith mantra, right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Having a positive expectation of what's possible.
Exactly.
Expectation is a superpower, but often we use it recklessly.
Mhm. Example.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, let me search the database because it's about when you said example, a whole floodgate open of how we of how we use this expectation
I apologize, my
recklessly.
dear. I didn't think I was like, okay. I didn't realize I was gonna open the floodgate of okay. But
Oh,
give
geez.
give
Like
give
I
us
had
your
to
thought.
call Jesus' name on that one
I heard you. I heard
because
you.
I felt the gate open and all of these like things started flowing like Jesus, I rebuke that.
Yes, we're gonna
Um,
release that and just one. Just one.
just one.
Just one.
So have y'all ever had something happen? And here's a common saying that comes out of my family, and it's with such emotion of, I want to say expectation. So something adversely happens to you, and the next thing they say is always something.
Mm,
I grew up with that. It's always something.
mm.
And guess what happens next?
Something.
Something. Yeah,
That's a good example. That's a good example.
isn't that a good idea? I don't know if
Yeah.
that if the Sandifer family is the only one that experiences that, but just
Mhm.
keep in mind, like I know y'all, some of y'all out there, y'all might not admit it to the world, but y'all had that it's always something moments.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. That's a good one. That is definitely a good one.
What is one you know about Tamiko?
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
There go
two,
that face.
two came to mind. The first one that came to mind is um well, folks can't be trusted.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
It was either folks can't be trusted, or you can't trust everybody.
Mm. Yeah,
Which
that's a good one. Can't trust everybody.
you can't trust everybody.
So living into that, you live this life of separation borders. Like you cannot even connect with people. You need people to connect in order to help you really contribute your gifts to the world.
Mhm.
You,
Exactly.
you need that.
Exactly. But that's also what starts to set up a lower vibration attitude in trusting others. First of all, I was trying to figure out who are folks.
Right. Who are
Can somebody tell me who are folks? Are folks the same as people? Because you hear this young all the time. Folks. Who are folks? Okay.
that's a good point to me. I'm so glad you pointed that out because
Mhm.
I don't know if people realize we say that all the time.
All the time. So who are folks? You know. Um, and then yeah, like again, that's where these things start to, manifest the whatever, like I said, lower vibration that things sit in, and we're steady working our way out, climbing out of that pit of 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 a lack of faith or a lack of trust. Because when you have those things, yeah, because that always something, and then like you say something,
Yeah.
and I I oftentimes would say to people, hey, watch your words,
Mm.
catch that one, erase, catch that one, because like you said, it's a common thing that that folks
Yeah.
or people do, and they don't even realize it. And it's like, well, okay, why does it have to real? And I do it so quick now. Like, wait, what did you just say? Don't even repeat it. Just erase it. Like, no, no, I'm not. I don't accept that. I don't receive that.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all about what you take on and what you don't, right?
hmm what you let in, exactly.
Yeah.
Is yeah. Because if you think about, again, words have power, right? And if you think about, it's almost like taking poison.
It
Just
is.
the tip of your tongue. You might be sick, but they might be able to give you an antidote. It might not kill you, depending on how toxic it is. But if you sit up there and swallow the whole glass,
Yeah.
you're gonna be pretty jacked up. So if you like, no, 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 no. And you can. I mean, that's the beauty about, again, having a spiritual attitude of faith, but the spiritual attitude of faith gets you to a spiritual attitude of balance. One of the things that I was thinking about with this segment, with this series on season 2, is this attitude that we're speaking of, is truly speaking of how do we get to a centered space of balance, or knowing when we're out of balance, because our natural state is balance.
Yeah.
So it's these things that we're talking about, that we're bringing the attention to, that will allow us to defrag old limited beliefs that were not ours. There's generations of generations of generations of, as you say, word salad with bad sauce. Not word bad.
Yeah.
But what is going to get us to this level of being able to move forward and genuinely operate in an essence that is keeping us balanced and elevating us and not tearing us down.
Yeah.
That's where we are, because then that's when you're moving in a positive, purposeful self that will allow you to align with just such goodness, health-wise, physically, mentally, spiritually, right? Because guess what? That always something could be good. So
Yeah.
that statement, you could add the word, is always something good. And
Yeah.
the first couple of times you say that, it sounds like, that's so corny. Well, be gluten-free and get rid of the corn. How about that?
Yeah.
Is always something good. Is always something positive. Is always something, right?
Amazing.
Exactly. So we get to add to what, those little things are the type of things that can change that mindset,
Yeah.
right? This whole thing, folks, well, the folks I know, the people I know, they good.
Right.
Because you raise your elevation. And when you raise your elevation, you're going to attract who you are. Like I said, you're going to attract who you are. The beautiful people, the beautiful way of life, the champions. The champions. My sister talk about pickleball. I'm in Cleveland. I ain't seen a pickleball court yet. I'm sure they have them.
They do,
But
girl.
I am randomly minding my business and roll up on a pickleball cap. Come on.
Yeah.
It's because of the elevation in which I'm vibrating in. My sister and I, we on this thing. She got to have her cap. She queen. She have her cap on. All right. That's how it happens. It's that simple. Yes, it's that simple. And
Yeah.
for those are going, but
She be tripping. She be cracking me up.
but
Yeah. All of that.
stop it. Just stop it. But what?
Right.
But what?
I know. I know. I know. I know that butt factor, that it factor and that butt factor, y'all. Well, who is y'all, Marnita? It's like saying folk. Y'all folk.
Yep. Them. Okay. That part.
Them, like them, like, oh yeah, they, like
They.
stop it. But there are so many elements that we could talk about today, but I'm gonna give one more, and then I'm gonna give a framework.
Okay.
Okay. The last one I want to talk about as an element in order to consider when accessing your faith is perseverance. We are so quick to give up. And I'm not almost want to say, I'm going to say persistent perseverance. Because you may say, I persist for the week, but persistence, perseverance, I mean, you're going to do it until whatever it is you're going after shows up. And it's making a decision to stay committed even though your circumstances say otherwise. Ooh-wee.
That part. That part.
Deciding to say commitment, even though your circumstances say otherwise.
Perseverance. Continuing until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And no matter what shows up. Like I was talking to my niece yesterday because I've been having this car situation, right? And she said, "You in that car?" And I say, "That's all you got? You can't do no better than that." Because I win. I'm the victor. I'm not the victim.
That's it.
I'm gonna persevere. Like, is that the only rock you got to throw my way? Like, get rid of them all so I could just go on and live my life.
And drive away in the sunset.
And drive away in the sunset. My niece literally asked me that. She's like, "You in that car?" Like, girl, I know it's a principality against me right now because I got something to say. And I got people to touch. You know why I know? Because I said, I want to be a miracle delivery agent. I asked God, let me be your miracle delivery agent for somebody that you want to touch today and speak through me so they know that you love them.
Today. Boom. So that's it. Because we were talking about this in the green room too. There's a lot, there's a heaviness. People are anxious. They're anxious. And don't be. Just be hopeful. And we will all persevere.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people don't know what to say, they make statements like that. You in that car are fabulous.
Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I know like when people say they may not mean it to impact me in a bad way,
Not
but
at all, because she loves you and you know that.
she loves me and I know that. But at the same time, um, it could be interpreted in a way that I can catch that ball and carry it and then begin to produce based on the reference point in which it was given that I perceived it was given. And I know it wasn't given in that light. I'm just like heading off. I'm like, nope. Not gonna happen. Is that all you got? Like,
And
I play football, you paying jacks.
you see it, Jax.
And for all you youngins that don't know what jacks is,
Look
like,
it up.
look it up. Go
Go to
Google it.
Google. Google Jax. Or the Jax champion.
Google jacks.
That's back when you were 4 years old and you could play with little things that you did not swallow, and you played with the little fly you did not swallow.
Oh my God. I can't believe I just said that. Jacks.
Jax.
Oh my goodness.
Jax. I'm done. Yeah, that's a good example. That's a great example of, again, like like you say, people just in conversations. And I love what you mentioned as far as it's not what they say, it's where it lands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so cool because when you get this sense of awareness and perception and you are operating in a certain level, what we've talked about in previous episodes, and when do we know that we're getting out of balance, or when do we know that statement could be a component that would start to move you in that element of being out of balance if you were to start thinking, well, yeah, this car X, Y, or Z, the different things that's going on with it. So to be able to say, no, 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 I'm not, I'm not accepting that. Um, it's so funny because, you know, one of the things that has been and continues to be very interesting about returning to a place that you grew up in. Okay. And there's been several elevations of where I'm at in my life throughout life. That's the beautiful thing. Y'all stick around. If you get 6 decades, you're going to be excited. Yes, you will be. For those that just been, I'm not excited. Maybe you need to talk to Dr. Marnita on Fire or Tamiko Group J, but that's a whole nother conversation because Dr. Marnita impacts, and I'm just going to sit there with you and go, what the hell? But anyway, the beautiful thing about returning, or the interesting thing, I should say, because it's not always beautiful, but it's interesting, is when you have gotten to a different level and folks are right where they were when you left 7 years ago. If they haven't gone a little further back on the path. So that's interesting to watch and or navigate. And what I set in the hopefulness is to be able to evaluate and persevere in where I felt called when I first returned.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't off track, but I was definitely stalling.
Yeah.
I was definitely stalling because there was a lot of distractions. And that's another thing that we have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Because if you get too distracted, you can lose an element of faith.
That is.
Okay. So distraction is not always positive.
Yeah.
Right.
Take it that way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about trust and surrender. We've talked about hopefulness, and we've talked about perseverance
Mm-hmm.
as just a few elements of what you can use, in addition to so many more. But if we talked about others, we would be here the entire day. So we're going to stop it at these three. Three's what? One, two, three, four. 3.5. And and we're going to give you a framework in order to like continue to bring other elements into accessing your attitude of faith. And this framework is going to be, well, I'm going to call it, well, see, Tamiko, I said I was going to use the Jabez prayer. There are 4 elements to the Jabez prayer. I said I was going to use that, but I'll give y'all that at the end. But I came up with another one, and it's called Rise.
Okay.
And it's not like, which is good, right? Because I love the Jabez prayer. If y'all don't know what the Jabez prayer is, please go look in your Bible and read it. There are 4 elements to it, and it would change your life. So, rise. The R is for recognize where you are in your psychological orientation.
That was boom.
I mean, I just defined attitude. That's what we're talking about, right?
That's what we're talking about. Yes,
Right.
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Psychological orientation to a person, a thing, related to a belief, a feeling, which outcome is a behavior. So the R is for recognize. Recognize where you are according to your psychological orientation.
So I just want to break that down in layman's terms a little bit. So psychological orientation, if we had to break that down in layman's terms, is saying, how does that make me feel? Does that make me feel a certain kind of way? go into that certain kind of way. Work with it. Okay. Continue.
Okay. The I is identify which element you're going to use in order to, because we just went over 3, in order to access your attitude of faith.
So I is identify.
I is identify.
Gotcha.
And then once you have identified, it's time to shift. S is shift. Come on, y'all. And then once you have shift into whatever element you're using as your tool to access your faith in that moment, based on your psychological orientation, you want to elevate. E. So you need to rise to the occasion. Come on, y'all, let's rise to the occasion. Let's rise to the occasion. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. And it's time. It's time to get out of that realm of stinking thinking.
Time to make that change. We are the people. We can do it. Okay, that was less than 30 seconds. So I do not own the rights to that song.
So that's good. So our framework is rise, recognize, identify, shift, and elevate.
Yeah.
And so I do want to give them the 4 elements. You and I know, Tamiko, the Jabez prayer, because it's been so profound in my life over the past 10 days. So the first one is, and I think it's sort of kind of in alignment with what we're talking about, because the first element of the prayer is, "Oh Lord, bless me indeed." Bless me. Like, bless me how you want to bless me. Bless me. We're not blessed because we're not asking to be blessed. You have not because you ask not. The second element of that Jabez prayer is, "Lord, increase my territory. Give me some more space to do what you want me to do on this earth. Increase my territory so I can do your will. Not necessarily what I want to do, like give me this unique unction to touch somebody. Let me know who it is so I can speak to them on your behalf. So you can speak through me, so I can speak to them." And then the next one is, "Lord, whatever I do on this earth today, let your hands be all up in it. Let it be all up in it. Like, move whatever part of me you got to move out the way, but let your hand be all up in it. And 4, protect me from temptation and the evil one. Because I don't want to fight the evil one. Just put this border of protection between he and I. So I ain't got to worry about, I don't have to be distracted by that part."
That part.
So that's what I got for them today, Tamiko. What you think? That's what we got. That's like, what did you think, Tamiko? That's what we got. I'm like, what?
Dr. Marnita, you brought the lesson. This was a strong lesson. And based off our last session coming into this is good. We got elements, the access, your faith, attitude, trust, surrender, hopefulness, and perseverance. And to access those, we have the framework of rise. And each level of rise. And then to follow that up with the Jabez prayer. That's a lot. Okay. And that was good because we basically put 2 episodes in one with the framework. So you got a little extra bonus today on that.
This is bonus Tuesday.
Yeah, this
It's no coincidence that it's voting Tuesday, so voting Tuesday get you bonus Tuesday.
It got you bonus Tuesday today. So that's the beauty and essence in that, and it's good. The other consistent factor that will continue throughout the series is elevate. Elevate. Okay, limitless possibilities and shifting into the next elevation, the rise up, rise up. And now's the time.
It is, isn't it, Tamika? Don't you feel it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I not only, yes, not only do I feel it, but have been experiencing it over the last 78 hours. It's been actual physical for me, the level of elevation and change that's happening right now. I had an appointment outside the house today, and I was really surprised that on the highway there was not a lot of traffic today.
It wasn't. It's not here either.
There is not, there's this sense of calm because it has not been there over the last several days. It hasn't. And so this sense of calm, and I'm like, okay, because I was running a little behind schedule today. Normally, where it would have taken me 35 minutes to get to where I had to go for my appointment, I got there on time. I was like, wow, okay. So yes, thank you for everything that you brought to the session today. This was a powerful session because this is a session that also came with a lot of theory in how to apply and how to access the faith of attitude. And remembering, the biggest thing that I would add to everything is remember, words have power and energy goes where the mind flows. So if we stay in that, in the true faith, in the true attitude of faith, and trusting and surrender ourself, starts with you, starts with us. If we stay in that space, the only thing that will happen is an elevation. You rise to the top. You'll
It's
continue
all the way up.
all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. That's it. Yes, absolutely.
Well, this has been great. And until next Tuesday, we collaboratively brought it today, I believe, Tamiko. So
Absolutely.
huh,
Absolutely.
yeah, this was good. I hope you have as much value that has been added to listening to the entire conversation as we hope that you will get from this. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Next week.
Until that time, y'all take care, be glorious, be magnificent, be magnanimous. Just express yourself in every possible way that you can to show that you are magnanimous.
Awesome. Awesome. And to each and every one of you, I hope you have exercised your right to vote. I'm not going to say which way, but that you took that time to vote, and that you enjoy the rest of your day. Be blessed, stay focused, stay balanced, and elevate. Thank you.